So happy to be here. My name is Nadine Watson. I am based in West Palm Beach, Florida, and today I'm actually in New York City. And I come to you, and I'm just really excited to be with everyone today. Just want to let everyone know I'm the director of the World Changers. I work as a licensed professional, financial professional, servicing businesses, professionals, small businesses, and individuals that really want to understand financial literacy on the strategy side and in the implementation side. So I work as a fiduciary. I work on the side of the consumer to bring you the best, whether it's in financial services or 401k or all types of life insurance. So I do that, and I have been in the financial service industry for the last 10 years, and I'm very, very passionate about it. And I come from a different career in media sales, and I'm able to bring that holistically while I consult and really bring the best. We believe in the World Changers that if your finances change, your world changes. And that's what I aim to do, is to help people navigate the complexities of the financial world, make it simple, and help them live out their dreams.
Diversified Game. Learn how to start, run, and sustain your business.
Hey, it's Kellen, and today on Diversified Game, I have Miss Nadine, and she's going to help us get the game. But I do want to say, I know most of you are listeners, but here's a reason to go check out the YouTube. Watch how this feature on Zoom, she has her name and her LinkedIn branded. I think Zoom, LinkedIn, somebody is in cahoots, and they want to get their branding because they want you to go check her out on LinkedIn, as well as the website that will be in the description wherever you experience this. Miss Nadine, my E2C alumni family, how are you doing?
Oh, Kellen, it's so great to be here. I'm doing great. You know, you mentioned E2C, and we have to say thanks to Bruce Lewis for creating the platform that he has in Palm Beach County. And that is how I was able to meet a powerful entrepreneur like yourself. So I'm very happy to be here and to be with all of your loyal, incredible listeners out there. And I'm excited for the time together.
All right. If you mention Bruce Lewis, who we've also had as a guest, and you have to say Sharifa, you have to say Megan, Michelle, the whole team, the whole family, all the participants. You guys check out E2C, especially if you're here in Palm Beach or South Florida. You can, get a family of sort to help you with your business. But Yes, I'm doing well. And, when you said, and you remind me of somebody, I haven't told you who intentionally. I'll tell you another time. I'll tell you in person over food or drinks or something. But I want to know, with, you having a corporate background and then going into the finances, why? What were you seeing in the community, and what community was it that you're like, wait, people need help?
Yeah, that's a perfect segue and a perfect question, because I had no intentions of coming into the financial industry. I was a communications major, and I was very successful in my career in media sales, completely different, opposite spectrum of the financial services. I think what made me, great gain a passion is that although I had incredible roles, executive roles, I grew up in an amazing family. I was born here in America, and I was first generation Haitian American. I had incredible parents. We did everything, and they provided us a lifestyle to have the best education and to live out our dreams. And we all did, the four siblings. And I did that. I lived out my dreams very early on and was the first of many categories. I think we're celebrating Black History Month. I look back, and I was part of that in being the first of many areas. And I loved what I did very much. But about 10 years ago, I think it was a combination of finding meaning and finding passion. I realized that as successful as I was, I felt that it was not a commonality around my environment and others, right? So I was living in this bubble. And I also realized that even though I had accumulated wealth because of my career, I didn't really have financial literacy or understand how I can scale and build a legacy. And I felt that there was a missing gap. And although my parents worked so hard, they themselves were not taught financial literacy. And that's what the appetite began when I was introduced to the CEO of the World Changers, Freyo Barber. And that is when I first leaned in to really understand that this was an industry that needed someone like me to come in and to really understand. It allowed me to pursue what I was doing before for big corporations like Dell and IBM and Microsoft, but now I was able to do that on a granular level and help people individually have access so that they can have the power of choice of things that they were not shared to in their lives. So that opened up a whole door for me. So although I loved my career of 20 years in media sales and corporate life, I very much know that this is where God wants me to be because I get to make an impact. I get to use my talents, and I'm very passionate about this industry. And it's all combined now with, social media and technology that I had the wisdom from the past to now bring it to allow to meet people everywhere they are.
Ready to dominate your industry with strategy that actually scales? At Coleman Public Relations and Consulting Firm, we're not just PR experts, we're licensed sports agents certified in AI and elite business consultants with over 2 decades of experience leading global projects across multiple countries. Visit cprfirm.com, that's colemanprfirm.com, and millionairex.ai. Then download the Millionaire X app, your AI-powered guide to getting out of debt, investing smarter, and building generational wealth. Coleman Public Relations and Consulting Firm. It's a family business. It's different.
Now, was it something where in media sales you feel that maybe you maxed it out? Ice-T would say you pimped it out and there was no higher to go, and so you say, I want to go do something else because you had this career in New York. I mean, things never stop. But what did you hit a certain number, or did you say, what, I could retire right now if I wanted to, and let me show others how to do it? Like, what was that inner drive that it just clicked?
For me, I wanted very much to be a mother. I very much wanted to be, a great wife. I was married for almost 3 decades, no longer, right? But I had other aspirations outside of being a corporate executive. And so the ceiling never stopped. I didn't have those issues. My colleagues were predominantly white males, right? So I didn't have I was already crushed over the ceiling, but I wanted a lifestyle that I had to say, well, I can't have a son and also be senior vice president. I'm never home. So I dabbled in that world. And I think that's what gave that emptiness inside of me that made me see a different version of wealth, right? What does it mean when you can't have, your own blessings, right? So for me, that click was, what kind of life can I have where I own my own time, where I have a scalable business that grows, that I am in control of, that I can pass on. And that click really happened when I realized what kind of life I wanted. So although I was grateful for the corporate success and breakthroughs, I also wanted something that was even bigger. And that's what entrepreneurship allows you to have. And you mentioned Bruce before. I would have never met Bruce if I didn't meet Sharifa. She brought me to Bruce. So I'm so happy that we're all collectively in a platform where we can share with each other. But that's pretty much the story of the corporate to why I am here at the World Changers today.
Okay, and tell people, the World Changers you mentioned, but you did not mention the Nadine Nora agency. So when they come to you, are those two things the same thing? Are they separate? Tell them that. And what, they got the financial part. Is there anything else with the agency that you do?
Absolutely. So the agency works in conjunction. It supports it. Because of the needs of Palm Beach County, there are areas that I help on the educational and governmental and business side where it comes to training and helping organizations scale. So whether it's public speaking, whether it's some of the nonprofit organizations that I help to grow, that's where the Nadine Nora agency fits in, right? So, we're planning on creating a hub in Palm Beach County, where we can have a wealth and wellness center for women over 50 who have gone through devastation, divorce, or death. So there's other areas that complements the World Changers, right? So the Nadine Nora Agency exists as my own, and I'm the president of, and servicing the community, but it's really bringing in the resources to the community level from the World Changers, which is where I spend most of my time and where I'm connected to as a licensed professional in the state of Florida. And that is where I am aligned to a team of experts, providers, and a world that I bring to the community. So for E2C, yes, it's the Nadine Nora Agency. So it's one and the same. Imagine a family, but different services and needs.
Okay. And tell people, requirements to work with you because we hear online, and I'm a fan of like Pocket Watcher with JT, and he's always talking about people giving advice, especially bad advice. He focuses on, especially in the Black community, right? If you Black, he's talking about you because people are saying, hey, get 12 Airbnbs and do Airbnb arbitrage. What are the services that you're giving? I know you mentioned insurance, but people want to know, are you going to tell me any other things, 401k, defined benefit plan, anything like that? Because people, and let them know also what those licenses are, because people say, are you a CFP? I tell people, no, I'm a CFSW, but we can connect you with the CFP if that's what you need, because I just want to help you out and service you. But let them know kind of the credentials and what those mean to you, and the things and products and services, it will go deeper.
Absolutely. So Kellen, the first and foremost is that we have a client commitment. And that commitment is that our mission is to empower individuals so that they have financial education and implementation. So first and foremost, what we do and the services that we offer is that we provide a financial needs analysis to everyone, complimentary, so that you can have a full analysis of your financial state. And at that point, our services run through the entire gamut, whether it's 401k rollover, whether it's all types of life insurance, whether it's term, perm, IUL, all types, long-term care, creating small pensions for businesses, having executive pension plans. So it runs through the entire gamut, from sitting down and doing a full assessment of income and debt and really understanding where you are. And so where people come to me, they don't even know what they need. They don't even know what it's called. We're not talking about products. We're talking about, where do you want to go? What are your goals? What do you want to accomplish? When do you want to retire? What does your income look like? What do you want to do for your children? When are they going to college? We're looking at a full 30,000 foot level. And then through that information, we are assessing, based on where you are, what tools are required. So that's why it's not a sales first. It's really a customer first. And we are very privileged to work with over 60 AAA rated companies so that we don't have to worry about product. We're worrying about what's going to get you to where you need to be. So people can reach me on my Calendly, on my Instagram. You have all my information. I know you're going to share that, but book an appointment. We'll see where you are and see what tools you have.
Okay, people, they get nervous, and you guys, I know she said IUL. I know she said a bad word on this show because I'm a Dave Ramsey, supporter and follower. So she said a lot of products, but I know you guys would hit me and say, you didn't say anything about the IUL like the other guy. Because somebody, so he was only selling IUL. He was trying to get rich. But let people know when they come to you, they get nervous sometimes if they don't know what's the price, because very few things for good are free. But I have had a great Haitian lady come on here and tell you everything she does is free. And she wasn't selling you IULs. So let them know, like, when that first Calendly link, is it a free first call, and how that works? Because how do you get paid is what they want to know, to make sure they have the money to pay you.
Absolutely. And, so this is not going to be a chat about products, because I don't talk about products, right? Because everyone cannot be all service. I can meet with one family and leave with 11 different types of products, right? So products is not really where we're going to focus on. But what we do provide here at the World Changers is a $0 complimentary financial needs analysis, because our priority as an organization, as a company, is to lead with financial literacy. And because of that, because of our commitment to making sure that people understand before they do anything, that they get fully audited, that they know all the options, that they are not sold to, that they have the time to really understand. That's why we have a network. We have courses that we teach. This is a holistic, incredible environment where people are really understanding first. Because of that, when we do an analysis, many times, 99% of the time, there is something that we could do better. There is savings that we could provide someone. There is no better meeting for me than when I leave a family saving them money. I just did a replacement policy for someone, and they were short on their financial revenue, right? Everyone is going through a tight, challenging time. I was able to put them in something with better coverage, with longer coverage, with more benefits, with living benefits for lower than what they were paying for. So imagine that savings over a course of however long they were going to pay for that 20, 30 years of that policy. So our goal is to make sure that we understand where you are and what could we do better and how can we help you save. Now, who is paying me? The company is paying me. You're not paying me, right? Because now I found you a better home. I found you an opportunity to grow your money better. You learn some things, because most times when people are talking to financial professionals, they represent one company. So if I represent one company, guess what I'm going to sell you? That one company, right? So that one company is not going to tell you what their competitor just launched. I am on top of our market on a daily basis. I train and listen to senior vice presidents of all of these companies. I know what's about to happen. I know before. So you're not going to get that information from your salesperson that sold you something last year. So when I come in and I provide something that works better for you, you're excited. You're in a better position, right? Now, the new company that obviously would have never met you before is going to take care of my income, right? So yeah, nothing is for free, right? This is not a nonprofit. But in terms of the transaction, we make sure that at the first and foremost goal that we provide a financial needs analysis that most people, we already know the numbers, have never received. So this allows you to have a full scope of where you are, because there's a lot of noise out there and there are a lot of people that are touting out, you should do this and you should do that. That's where I got stuck in corporate America, right? My parents didn't have 30 years of wealth that my colleagues had, but I was following their advice. They didn't have the foundations that they had. So we have to be very careful when we talk about products, because it may not be right for that person, right? So what we do is make sure that we educate, that we implement, and that we have a strategy in place. So that's really the format. So I hope that everyone that's listening to this takes the opportunity to go on my calendar link, DM me, virtual. I'm in New York. I travel. I come to my clients. I love this very, very much. And I have an ability to connect with people to really understand what they really want to achieve. And if something is already good in place, I have to, by law, tell you that you did great. So at a minimum, you're going to get a great, wonderful, complimentary checkup. But more than likely, you're going to learn something you didn't know before.
Now, about 14% of Americans, some stats say, actually fully fund their 401k to the max. Dave Ramsey in his book showed that the best savers are teachers, and a lot of them can retire millionaires when they follow, especially his steps. What are you seeing for the now and the future? Because with TikTok and all the social media, we always beat up on TikTok, but it's other social media. We're seeing everybody is a millionaire. Everybody has retired their unborn kids, their mother, but at the same time selling a course and telling you how they did it. Do you see a crisis now or coming with the constant spending and then the lack of financial knowledge? Or are we in a good space right now?
We're not. I mean, we look at the statistics that we have. I love to measure what people think with statistics. Right now, we are seeing that over 70% of Americans are worrying about the rising costs. These are the stats. 61% of Americans over the age of 50 worry that they will not have enough money for retirement. These are the real issues. This is the AARP study. 53% of Americans that are six-figure earners feel very much behind for retirement. 70% of Americans worry about outliving their savings and investments. 59%, this is from F&G study that just came out 2 months ago, 59% of Americans cannot cover a large expense. And now 69% of workers are saying that achieving comfortable retirement like their parents is impossible. So these numbers are dark as a general, right? Now, when we look at the forgotten middle, that's really the audience that we spend most of our time talking to. Although we can scale and work with very large billion-dollar companies and can do massive scale size relations, our sweet spot is really middle Americans, people that have worked hard, have been working hard for 30, 40 years, and are afraid of outliving their expenses. And so a lot of the things that they're hearing, and you mentioned the person that you follow, it's really about not following, but what is right for you. And people are having real fears right now, and they're not meeting with someone. Over 80% of these people are not getting a financial needs analysis. They're in a frozen state. They don't know what to do. So that is really the main focus, is making sure that we're setting up our economy, our next generation, that there's a wealth transfer. There's peak 65 right now, which means that there's going to be 11,900 people in retirement every single day over a large of a span time. So there's not only a transfer of wealth, there's a transfer of this industry. 20 years ago, you wouldn't have seen someone like me talk about financial services. So there's a wealth transfer, a work transfer. People are tying in creativity and AI all now into creating different platforms. So the goal as a consumer is to not be caught up in that and just be part of everything, right? Is just to be very clear about what your goals are and to assess what you're able to do. But I think that it's going to be both a promising future. It's going to have entrepreneurship at the highest level. We're looking at this year alone, over 340,000 Black women out of the workforce, right? Those are dark numbers. So I think that what we're faced with, and then you look at those numbers, majority of them are leading the households of their families. So I think we're going to not only see a big need for financial literacy, because people are now shifting landscapes. I went through many stages of great success life changes. Then you become a mom, then you're a wife. I unfortunately went through divorce. Then I went through grief. Then I went through caretaking. We're looking at stages of lives that are different for everyone, and the needs are very different. So it's very important that people take a moment to assess where they are, block the noise, and make sure that you're talking to someone who's licensed and appointed and is passionate about this industry, and not someone who just has a free ebook with a great reel.
What if they got a million or 2 million or 5 million following them, and they got all the celebrities on their show, and they run a conference in Atlanta and tell you and bring Grant Cardone on, and yeah, I'm talking about him, y'all, because you guys look at your lives and who you followed, and see if you're happy with where you're at. And with that, can you tell the people? I'm gonna ask you a question. I was get on my soapbox for a minute, but I don't want to pick on nobody all day. Is $1 million enough? Is a big question in retirement. It used to be you would think, oh, I hit $1 million, it's enough. But I tell my clients, if you can live with the 40,000 a year and get your 3,000 and some change every month, but a lot of folks are their bills are much larger than that because credit is so easy and cheap. But to you and what you're seeing with your clients, is $1 million enough for the majority of people that you're servicing?
No, it's not. We're looking at the rising costs. We're looking at healthcare rise. 1.4 million is a minimum, and people don't even have that prepared. People don't even have their own lives covered. There are people that don't have the homes that they live covered. What happened? What if something happened to you tomorrow? How is your spouse going to take care of the house mortgage and run the house? Right? We're looking at those types of levels that people are not even prepared to cover their own life if something happened. Forget about having money for retirement, which is well over $1 million, right? So I think that it's a situation that, when people think they're good, but they don't know what good is to great, right? People think they're good. It's like, really, what is your definition of good? And so sometimes people feel like, I'm good, I don't need anything else, right? But then are you able to outpace inflation? Are you able to outlive an emergency? The statistics are showing us otherwise, right? So I'm not trying to sound grim. I think that I just love to be preventative, because everything that happened personally to me, right? I want to make sure that I prevent in others the things that I would have done completely different. Someone that's in my age group, they're going to be dealing with caring for their loved ones, their elders. I wasn't prepared, right? So now I'm able to, because of those experiences, sit down with someone that may think they're good, but is your mom good? Is your auntie good? Like this, everybody's not as good as you are. So I think that this is our time this year to operate as a cooperative economics, kuchichakulia in Kwanzaa, and have an embodied spirit to see, is everyone in my camp good? Last week I went to a church. I'm going to be doing a faith and finance workshop to a group of 100 women. Majority of them have never ventured out their bubble to explore what they could be doing. I love that stuff. I think that we have to look all around us and see who can be impacted with knowledge and can grow their wealth for themselves.
And what about, because there's people who say, well, I've worked my whole life and I've, worked, and I know the government's going to take care of me and my Social Security is going to cash me out if it's there, right? But a lot of people don't understand. They think they're going to be getting 2,000 or 3,000 or more a month, but they never made six figures in their life. And they sure haven't made it for the last 35 years. So your social may look like 1,200 or 14. And if you ever go to a nursing home and see people who are in the state funded homes, you will work even harder. Because I want that, if I had to be in a nursing home, God willing, I won't have to be, but I want the Aegis that has the beer and the wine on tap in the movie theater, and they got the blue pill and more stuff is going on. You got to knock on the door, go in there because of the blue pill. Can you tell people what you're seeing with the population who is maybe getting close to retirement or in retirement who thought they had enough? Because I do want to be grim, because I want people to know you might not be as ready as you are, and why you need to go hit Nadine up right now and find out, because they don't always want to hear it from us. We're a little harsh over here.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, anyone can go right now on socialsecurity.gov and look up for yourself, put your Social Security number, and see the estimated Social Security amount of money that you are anticipated to receive. And when you look at that amount, ask yourself if you can live off that amount. The second is that it says it right there that the Social Security fund is expected to be exhausted. So my son's going to be 25 years old. By the time there's going to be the whole system was not built for us to outlive. That was based on an age morbidity that we've surpassed. So look for yourself. I always love for people to look themselves, when people want to challenge me in that area, because you can see for yourself that Social Security is not a means for retirement. I can also say, just like you said, the nursing home options, when you have that time, we had that happen. My mother was in one that broke our heart. We were like, she can't be in there. There's no way, right? And then we moved her to another one that was all the bells and whistles. And it was so much like a Lamborghini. And it was like, that's what she deserves, right? And so you have no idea how important it is for those unexpected times. And when we go even further, my mother and father were married for 60 years. They were both with pensions. They both worked 40 years. Pensions, who has a pension these days, right? So they were fortunate. They had pension, Social Security. Guess what happens when one spouse passes away, like my mother? So does her Social Security and her pension. Are you prepared for that? That's reality. That's what I personally had to deal with. My mother was actually my very first death benefit. I've been doing this for 10 years. I love helping families. I help making sure that they're protected. I never knew my first death benefit was going to be my own mother, right? But here's the other thing. Most people don't realize that when you do have that, I had to step out of the workforce. Thank God I had the World Changers. Thank God I had partners and amazing, wonderful people I've known for so long that could step in for me from my business so that I could be with my mother. I would never be able to do that in corporate America. I spent 7 months in the hospital laying next to her. I was part of that while my business was running. So, but most people don't have that opportunity. And on average, Transamerica came out with a study that over 46% of women will lose $330,000 worth of personal income because they have to tend to their elder. So these are realities that people have to face with. And I'm blessed that I went through those suffering moments because I can bring joy to someone else by preventing and doing what I wish I did differently.
Thank you for sharing that. And I hope people hear that and say, wait, oh, my parents still are alive. I gotta, I might have to take care of them because, again, American culture, it's not one that really respects elders. I'm very thankful when I've had to deal with death with parents and and grandparents that their business was taken care of, but their lives were taken care of as well. It didn't just start, like in a year. It was a lifetime of learning and saving and getting things right. With all the good that you're doing, and all of this could be a community give back, but what's a community give back that you are doing? You mentioned going into the church. I don't know if it's paid or unpaid, and your give back can be paid, but can you tell some people, some give backs that you're doing or some things that you would like to do? And also, how could we help you make those things easier? Because what you're doing, it can help the whole country. If we all had our finances right, the whole country benefits.
Yes, well, I appreciate that. And I think the first thing that everyone can do is to become a member of the World Changers Network. And when you become a member, and I even have on my Instagram the link to become a member, and you'll see my code in there. When you become a member, you are now part of a platform that is embedded in not only financial literacy and all the social media and tools and everything, a will and all the components that you're going to use, but now you're going to have access to an entire curriculum of courses. We're talking about everything you need to learn about debt, annuities, life insurance, business insurance, every single course. We have well over 40 different courses that are top notch. Guess what happens? Every time you finish a course, and they're in nice bite-size 12 to 15 minutes, like full of like real good, not like a long course. They're really, really good. When you finish a course, Kellen, you know what happens? The World Changers then asks you in return, where would you want us to donate our philanthropy dollars to? We have clean water, we have education, and we have, there's another third one. I always choose from, they're all like poverty, water, and there's an environmental one. So you yourself are gaining knowledge, and in return of gaining knowledge, you are holistically now providing a well of philanthropy. And when you go on our website, you will see the thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of money that have helped individuals across the world. So that's already embedded in one of the principles of our company, is that we're helping you gain knowledge. We're sitting down with you. We're finding the right fit to make sure that you have everything you need. We're also opening the door for you to become part of our network. That's number one. And because that philosophy, and because this is a woman-owned company and a CEO that I admire for a decade now, and everyone around us, we all have that already in our nature, right? So you may know through E2C, I'm very involved with the community. I work with Path to College. with Clay, which is a Haitian organization. It's pretty much everything that I do, right? So I believe in making people wealthier so that they can do great things with their wealth, right? I had a client that seen so many gains from rolling over her 401k into a fixed index annuity that she opened up a business. I love seeing that, right? So I think that the philanthropy step number one is to become a member, and you will be surrounded with information that you can fill your tank up and take your financial literacy level from insecurity to expert in no time.
Hello, everyone. Join us on an exciting journey with Explore the World Cameroon. London and Sydney go take you explore Cameroon, the heart of Africa. Experience the vibrant culture, nature, and traditions from Yaoundé market to rainforest adventures. Every page na new discovery. Join the Cameroonian food, music, and wildlife with our explorers. This book na true celebration of Cameroon spirit. Get your copy now. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and through your library and bookstores via Ingram's Park. Don't miss this adventure.
Love it, love it, love it. I have to ask, it may be too soon, it may be premature, but what is the plan for the book and our podcast, YouTube, where where we can find you? I know you're on Instagram, but do you have bandwidth for that? Is there any plans for that where people can go subscribe right now and then pressure you to give them more?
Yes, and I think you're going to be helping me with that. Part of my reason of being here in Brooklyn, New York, is part of that is sharing my story on a larger scale. And so I'm very excited to share not only the great success parts, but also the challenging parts and how I got through that. And I'm really excited to be able to share that. There's some wonderful things in the works. But right now, certainly for this quarter, in order for me to talk about podcasts, we connected through Bruce and Sharifa and the whole gang and Megan and everyone. And so for me, this is a season where I'm going to be focusing on getting some more agents. I need agents all over. I'm looking for licensed people, unlicensed people, right? So I'm really looking to build that up because as I get on bigger platforms, Kellen, and I leave and walk off the stage, now I have 100 people that want a financial needs analysis, right? So I need a great team. So this quarter, you're going to see me building and growing so that we can have some stability for the growth that's coming in. And we have some partnerships that I'm really excited that I'll be announcing pretty soon. But that's all in the works. Grief is joy. One of my first projects, I'll give you a sneak peek, will be on that. I think that that's an element that most people don't, it's an emotion that we're not prepared for. What happens when you are an entrepreneur and you now have grief and how do you continue, right? So that's going to be one of the first solutions that I come up with. But yet again, that is an example of what the Nadine Noor agency is an arm, right, under the World Changers. I'm able to take my hat and go down deep. I do have plans to be in Ghana to work with the expats on wealth transfer. So not only do I have a great role helping people here in the US, but I see a global expansion, and it's perfect that I'm with the World Changers. I'm excited.
Awesome. How exciting. And we are ready for you when you are, but how exciting, for all that. When you speak Africa, oh man, you started something. So if you say Ghana, do you have a date? Because, as a dual citizen, one of them being in Africa, people will say, when are you coming to Ghana? So before they hit you up in the DMs and try to get that bride price ready, do you have a plan, a date, a time that you can, or is it too soon?
No, it's not too soon. Like I said, my focus is really going to be building a licensed team that can serve the needs. This is a good problem to have, right? I have too many people to serve. I need people to help me serve them. So right now we're looking at the birthday month, which is September. For a few months to work on Ghana. But because I can't leave the US unless I'm fully with a team. So September, are you going to come back?
I go wherever I tell people I go, my bag is packed when you're ready. The Aero Club is right over there. Jump on, let's go. Let's go. Africa is, to me, I say Africa's home. So people always ask, why do you go to Africa so much? Or what do you guys have out there? And I say it's home. Like it's really home. But I just was born here. But we were cargo, and when you're able to connect, I've been going to Africa for over 20 years. So I've been able to build. Have you been to Ghana yet? And is that the only country, if you've been to Africa, that you have been to?
I've been to Cote d'Ivoire when I was a junior in college. I have to say that totally changed my entire mindset moving forward. When I came off that plane from Ivory Coast, I landed a job at One Life to Live on ABC as a junior in college. I then worked at Telecare. I did a film. I was like on top of my game as a junior in college. That was just from spending a month in Cote d'Ivoire. So imagine that impact. I think I was 19 years old. And so I went to Cote d'Ivoire. This will be my first time going to Ghana. My cousin studied international studies, so she spent her last 3 decades there. So it was easy for me to visit her in Cote d'Ivoire, which is so important that we see the world, right? My son's going to be going to Ethiopia on a mission trip this May, and he's going to be doing surgery in the village with a team of doctors, right? And I know when he comes back, I'm excited because I know when he comes back from being from Africa, his mind is going to be a different mind. So I look forward to going back. This time I am invited to some great things that, guess what? The world is changing. People are, becoming nomadic and expats, and they're living in other areas. So I'm excited to meet with professionals who want to scale and grow and be part of the world changers. They just happen to live in a different area, right? And they come to the US, right? So I'm excited to not only get culture and history, but to also help families that are here in the US, because no matter where you are in the globe, you're always going to want to help your families if they're in the US, vice versa. And so I know that that's part of me. I'm able to bring that fabric of my culture there. So I'm excited about that. But first is definitely building the World Changers team and continuing on with my credentials with Palm Beach County and making sure that I am certified to help them with their consulting and leadership skills that they need overall outside of the World Changers.
I mentioned bride price for you, but if your son, 25, doctor, what's his specialty?
Surgical.
And he's coming, he's going to be in Lalibela or Mekelle? Where is he going?
Oh, that's a really good question. He just gave me all the details. And I'll make sure that you meet him before he comes to a lot of the E2C things. Yeah, you'll love to meet him. His name is Jared, and I'm really excited. He works in Palm West Hospital as a surgical technologist, and he's going with his cousin, who's also a surgical technologist. And the two of them are going to do this mission for 3 weeks in Ethiopia, and I'm excited about it.
Awesome. Palms West, just down the street. So
and guess what? This is a beautiful thing. He's working. His first job after passing his board is in the hospital where my mother spent the last 7 months of her life. And every time he would come in that room, she loved that hospital. We loved that hospital. They took such good care of her. And it was her dream. And then boom, that's the first job that he got. So it's really like a beautiful alignment of souls. So you can celebrate life in every journey, even if the person's not there. But yeah, he's working at my mom's hospital that I stayed at for 7 months. And that's where my son got his first job. So I'm very blessed.
That is awesome. You guys, and I have no cap in me because I had someone recently say, you said you go to Africa at any time. I said, yeah, anytime, invoice is paid, ticket is there, and I don't fly coach. But if your son wants, before he goes to Ethiopia again, I'm just down the street from that hospital, and this is my office. And so tell him if he can have my number. I tell everybody, anybody can have my number because it's public number. But yeah, wherever he's going in Ethiopia, have just in case, or if he is looking. Guys go to Ethiopia and they lose their mind, not in a bad way, because the women it's a very conservative country. It has its wild parts as well, but people just feel at home. And it's like you're home and you don't have to leave if you don't want to leave. You know, there's good and bad in every place you go to. So yeah, tell him, just holler at me if he wants anything before going to Ethiopia. Because if he comes back with a wife, don't be shocked.
Well, listen, he will not, because I'm very blessed that I have a future daughter-in-law.
Oh, okay.
And she's beautiful, and they are planning their wedding. We just had a beautiful engagement party. So he is going to save lives, and his future bride will be waiting for him. So
Okay, she's gonna watch this and say, "Whoa, man, I might have to come too." Yeah, you might.
no, that's my girls. Like we know beautiful people all over the world, but when you make a commitment, you make a commitment. So he won't have to. Maybe he'll tell somebody else. A single friend.
Yeah, he'll put somebody else on. You guys, that's what this whole thing on is Diversified Game. So you guys can hear Nadine's story on how she started, sustained, and succeeded. So you can say, "Oh, I think I can do it too. She might look like me. She might sound like me. She might remind me of my sister. I think I can do it." Yes, you can do it. I truly believe that. Keep God first, you guys. Nadine, give them any last words and where to find you, the best way to connect. I know you mentioned the Calendar link. Where can they find it?
You can go on Instagram right now. My Instagram name is Nadine's Best. I've had that for 2 decades because I always bring the best. So it's Nadine's, Nadines Best. And when you go on my links, you're going to see my personal page, so you can get more of my background and what I do exactly and the services that I offer. You can go in and just click on the Calendly link and book your appointment and have a great time with me for an hour for free on Zoom. You're also going to see the World Changers homepage so that you can have a deeper look at our company and our offerings. And it's going to grow because you're going to help me with that front. I have to get it, all that stuff, but the essentials are there. The most important thing is that I love to bring value. So go ahead, book your appointment, and I can, help you with your next steps. And I'm just really grateful that I'm going to meet the next person that reminds me of myself, or someone that I know that I can make their life better. And I look forward to doing that.
You guys have got the game. Now you have to apply the knowledge that you have. So you can leave comments wherever you experience this. You can like it. It helps in the algorithm. But most importantly, and what I really care about, is that you share this with somebody, because it will change their life. You guys, be blessed.
You've tried it your way, but you're still in debt. Or maybe you're doing okay, but want to invest smarter, grow faster. MillionaireX.ai gives you real step-by-step strategies to ditch debt or stack wealth. Stop dreaming and start planning. Visit MillionaireX.ai today. I want you to be the next millionaire next door.
Are you tired of the rat race in America? Are you ready to visit the motherland to relax and rejuvenate? Are you ready to explore all that Africa has to offer? Then check out the brand new Diversified Game Academy course, Prepare for My First Trip to Africa. Are you worried about being able to afford the trip? We got you. We will show you how to travel either on a budget or as a baller. Learn how to stress the value of the USD. Did you know that 100 United States dollars is worth over 1,000 South African rand, or 10,000 Kenyan shillings, or 54,250 West African CFA? Are you worried about taking your kids? Get the game from KELLEN Cash, a bona fide world traveler, having traveled to almost 20 countries, several of those in Africa. Get the game on taking your kids on their first trips. Learn how to find the best tickets, get the visas, and plan your own adventures in Africa. Don't let Eddie Murphy have all the fun. Plan your own coming to Africa trip starring you, produced by you, and featuring you. If you are ready for a life-changing experience, sign up for our course today, Diversified Game Academy. Get prepared and purchase at diversifiedgame.com.